Hello there again, everybody. This is going to be my first run through with the relatively new Rakdos Midrange deck. It is exactly what it sounds like, just black and red, good stuff, pretty much. It should play out a lot like Jund in terms of the early turns, and that we wanna either have hand disruption or cheap removal, and then we can follow it up by either powerful planeswalkers, like Liliana or Blood Moon if you want to count that as a planeswalker, and Magmatic Channeler along with Kroxa as our cheap-ish threats, and then Pyromancer and Hazard just really good grindy threats, on top of our other already really good grindy threats. So we're looking to fight the mid-range battle and win the game that way, but we could also just cheese out a victory by sticking a Blood Moon. And if we ever get flooded on Blood Moons or flooded on things that we don't really want to cast, we have ways of converting them into meaningful resources via discarding to Magmatic Channeler, discarding to Liliana of the Veil, discarding to Seasoned Pyromancer, or discarding to Hazard the Fervent. So I like how, at least at a glance, it appears as though cards won't be really stuck in the hand very often because there are ways to convert what isn't impactful into something that is hopefully impactful. This is a straight copy and pasted list. Let me go ahead and give credit real fast to Twinless Twin. So this is 100% this player's list. So none of the sideboard decisions were mine. None of the main deck decisions were mine. Off the bat, there are a few small things that I would change, but I'm just going to see how this list performs because, like I said, I just pulled it straight off the internet, and I'm just going to see what I can do with somebody else's 5-0. So let's take a look at the current modern metagame. We've got our deck, Rakdos Midrange, already in at a 4th place slot from seemingly nowhere. It has yet to supplant the best 3 decks in the format that have been around for a long time, Uro, Shadow, and Heliod. And we've got more Uro and Titan piles, followed by some combo decks, and only a couple mid-rangey decks like D&T. Alright, so let's just jump into the league. This looks like a ship. We've got a pretty okay poker hand. Full house. Double trips doesn't exactly count, but yeah, otherwise, not a great hand. This hand is much more serviceable. I think I'm just going to end up bottoming 3rd land here. There's a pretty good chance that Fatal Push is one of our better cards for playing against something like Burn or Prowess. And we don't really need more than 3 lands in this deck. Like, it's really just Seasoned Pyromancers and, like, the 1 or 2 copies of Hazard along with Liliana, and we don't have any of those right now. So yeah, I think I'm going to bottom the basic mountain. I want to keep the swamp for potential Blood Moons. And I guess I'll go Bloodstained Mire first. If I'm playing against something like Burn or Prowess, I'll want to Swamp first, because if they play like the early creature, I'll want to push so I can have the option of getting Blood Crypt painlessly. So for that reason, maybe I do just lead on Swamp. It's basically free, but then I have to fetch Shock for a Channeler if I want to play one. So leading here is probably just fine. They did target themselves. Alright, so it looks like Rakdos Shadow, also given the presence of Luris. So not really looking like it's going to be a Blood Moon matchup, but we've got the Channeler to maybe sift through those. Thoughtseize is a nice pickup, but I think I'm going to do the mana efficient thing and get the Channeler down. We do have the ability to turn on the Channeler just with what's in hand. Also, our hand is pretty excellent versus a Prospective Shadow deck. Pretty nice also that they haven't Thoughtseized or Inquisitions. I'd rather they draw those later as opposed to early. Scourge as a 1/1. Alright, I think I'm just going to go ahead and Lightning Bolt this. The opponent can Seal a Fire targeting me to make their Scourge a 3/3, but that means Bolt still kills it. I think long run, Bolts are going to be better. Sorry, the pushes are going to be better, so I want to use this removal now. And I'll make sure to do all this beforehand. So that way I'm not taking extra life and making the Scourge grow. So they've got Goyf and the Shadow. Alright, I think I'm inclined to take the Tarmogoyf here. They can't actually play the Shadow quite yet. It's possible I want to take the Tarmogoyf because they're more easily able to cast the Death Shadow after casting a Luris. But I think I will just take the Tarmogoyf because it's the creature they're able to cast right now. And then I'll get in for 1. I don't think I'm discarding these pushes. There's not much better that I would want to find. Like they can seal themselves, fetch shock, make a 3/3 Shadow, or they might just put Luris into their hand. I'm going to make sure to leave this uncracked so I can guarantee Revolt to kill the Luris. So it's Jund Shadow, okay. Alright, Luris in the hand. Ooh, Liliana is a pretty excellent draw. I wonder if I should just be getting that in play now and plussing. They can Seal of Fire it though, which is kind of awkward. If I Liliana plus, they'd have to seal it, and I'd still have a removal, be able to use it as a removal spell. It's a really expensive play. That has me putting down my Mire for potential revolts. I think I'm just gonna hold it and attack for 1. Because like if I'm plussing this, I'm discarding a push, and I'm not particularly inclined to want to discard a push right now. So I expect their turn to be something along the lines of Luris, play a Bobble, probably Shock, play a Shadow. Sealing my Channeler. Okay, so I guess what they're maybe attempting is Luris and then replay the seal to kill the Magmatic Channeler. So now I could just play the Liliana and get the Edict off this way. We're pretty guaranteed that the Liliana is going to be able to survive because there's no longer a seal. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty... I think another good play is I can just Fatal Push this now, and then I can untap Liliana Plus, just discard whatever it is that I've drawn. Yeah, I don't think I want this Liliana getting bolted or sealed quite yet, so I think I like going for the Fatal Push play. It's like I can Liliana minus on an empty board, which is pretty attractive, but I don't want it getting bolted down, because I think long run this Liliana is going to be pretty good. Alright, I think we're modestly ahead. We do need to find another threat, obviously. Annoying. Alright, no combat trick is nice, though. Now we're going to get to Edict with the Liliana and keep it around. And at this point, anything that I'm drawing, I'm pretty much immediately casting. So I'll just play out my hand to make the Lilianas not make me discard cards. So if I draw like a land after this, I don't want to discard one for basically free when I could just be playing them. Alright, good old-fashioned top deck war. If the opponent can break exactly here once, then we can get the Liliana recharged to Edict the first creature, but them drawing a creature here would be unfortunate. Alright, so it worked out. So we need a threat here. Hazret would be best. Croaks is great too. I think I actually want to just plus first, because that enables me to escape the Croxa immediately. Alright, they've conceded. Cool. Alright, so Jund Shadow. I imagine the feeds are going to be good just as additional removal spells. The explosives can get the 2 for 1. Okay. It's a grindy matchup, so maybe I want Kolaghan's commands. They're playing Luris, so I can see Spellbomb being useful. For a similar reason, I can see Soul Guide being useful, but less so. I think I really want to get the card off of the. I really want to get the card off of the activation, which Spellbomb does and Soul Guide doesn't. I could also see Cling being useful for similar reasons of Spellbomb being useful. Kalidas is nice, but it gets outsized by everything. Similar reason why I don't think I want Chandra. It's a really mana expensive play, and 4 damage doesn't kill many of their creatures. So I think I'm going to take out some Thought Seizes. They tend to be pretty bad versus the mid-range decks. Like they're best versus control and combo. Bolt also isn't going to be killing a whole lot. It can go to the face and make their shadow plan kind of tricky. So I think I'll keep in a couple, but keeping in most of them doesn't seem great. This also doesn't seem like a very good Blood Moon matchup, given they're mostly 2 colors plus flashing green for like a Tarmogoyf. I think we could probably still get them a couple of times with a moon, but drawing multiple seems like it's going to be bad. Although, like I mentioned in the deck tech, there are lots of ways to convert things that are bad into hopefully something better, so maybe it's fine to just keep as many Blood Moons as possible. Well, we are on the draw, so they do get worse. It's like, do I want the Clings over anything, basically? I think this is probably just fine. I could see just shaving the other bolts. I mean, the bolts do kill Luris, and it does make their plan tricky. Let's give this a go. On the play, I might make more changes. Like, on the play, I could see bringing in some of the 3 mana stuff, like Kolaghan's Command, and maybe even the other moons. Yeah, this hand is fine. I expect them to take either Liliana or a Blood Moon here. Unless they've got like additional hand disruption and they can reliably cast it before I get to 3 mana. Bolt's a nice one. We might be able to catch a Shadow off guard, especially because they don't know about it. Yeah, like a Fetch Shock down to a 12 here lets them play the Shadow, and they don't know that we can kill it at instant speed. Tarmogoyf has a 4/5. Alright, well, we can feed the Swarm that. And it's interesting that they're continuing to Fetch Shock, even though they know that we've got access to a Blood Moon. So that might be indicative of they've got more hand disruption, or just like a way to get rid of the Blood Moon. Nope, I guess they're just content with having their one swamp, as are we, I think. Most of our spells are red anyway, so I'll slam the Blood Moon without a second black. It makes it hard for us to escape the Kroxa, but I think in general it's better for us than it is for them. You know, like, maybe they'll trophy it with it on the stack or something. Maybe they've also got Decay, but that's probably fine. I'd rather it be trophy. Cool. So I'll get basic swamp here. Most of our stuff is red, but in the event we draw other Blood Moon, I think we want the option to escape Kroxa. I don't think needing to bolt something in end step is going to be ultra likely. I could just play explosives for 1, but if they have like 2/2 drops, I'm going to want the 2-for-1 that way. So I think putting down the option to bolt is probably fine. So I'm at 18, so I guess if the opponent plays a Scourge of the Skyclaves, I'll have to be wary of a burn spell pointed at me. Although a burn spell pointed at me instead of one of my creatures is probably better. So maybe I just, if that's the play, I just bait it anyway, because then I can explosives onto an empty board and they're down a burn spell that would kill a creature otherwise. Ren. Alright, that might be a thing that I'm willing to explosives. Alright, so I'm taking 1 more damage than I would otherwise have to by getting this swamp, but I still think it's probably fine. Interesting that they didn't Swift Spear first and then Renin 6 to do an additional point. Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is a fine one. I think I might want to save the Thoughtseize for after they put the Lurrus into hand, though. Just so like they can't guaranteed get the card off of it. So the question is, I guess, do I want to like Channeler plus explosives? Do I want to just explosives pop? Do I want to play explosives Lightning Bolt the Swift Spear? Do I want to like Thoughtseize plus Kroxa, play explosives on 1? If I Thoughtseize explosives, play Kroxa on 1, that doesn't leave me with a good answer to the Renin 6 though. I think what puts me in the best position is removing the Planeswalker. So I think that has me putting explosives on 2, but I almost don't want to pop it yet because that makes me pretty weak to Scourges and Tarmogoyfs. So like maybe I just have to be okay with them getting some land drops. Yeah, it's close. I have 1 instant or sorcery for the Channeler right now, so like between Bolt and Thoughtseize, I do need another. Alright, so I think what's going to happen is I'm going to play explosives on 2 and then just not pop it quite yet. And then to continue advancing the board, I'll also play Channeler. And then if they attack with a Swift Spear, I'm not going to block. This does put a 2-drop into play. But like I said, I'm not popping it on just the run and 6 yet. I'm probably going to wait until they've got something else going for them. I also didn't expect this Channeler to live very long anyway. Sure. They might just take the Thoughtseize because that's what deals with the Luris most effectively. But I mean, they could get next turn, play Luris, get Luris, play Luris, and recast a Bauble. They do have to be somewhat wary of their life total now that they're all the way down to 7 after the Thoughtseize, and we've got Bolt. So like an attack and another Bolt off the top does just kill if they can't defend. What's up, Sephiris? What's Hanno? Is that referring to someone? Oh, the opponent? Oh, they're streaming now? That's cool. I thought I recognized the name, but I couldn't really put a finger on it. Ooh, Hazoret's an interesting one. They didn't attack with Swift Spear. They did, however, put the Luris into their hand, and I did mention that I'm saving the Thoughtseize for when that happens. Interesting that they put it into their hand, because they did Thoughtseize me and see that I had the... Okay, that makes sense. That does make sense. Alright, well, this is happening no matter what. And then I suppose I'm attacking the opponent. They're able to block, but if I Lightning Bolt the Swift Spear, that doesn't happen. They're just gonna get to Luris and recast it though, which is annoying. But I think I want to keep my hand pretty empty, so this Hazoret has the chance to be really, really good. Sounds good. I'll have to check out his stream later. So the opponent gets to Luris and play like a Tarmogoyf or something. If they play a 2-drop, I've got the explosives ready to go. Does take my Channeler as well, but that's probably fine at this stage. Yep. Yeah, Hazoret followed by Kroxa is pretty good. I almost want to just Kroxa first because it's larger. They play the Goyf, sure. Damn. If they didn't play a Shadow here, I could have like swept these two things and like played Hazoret and forced a chump. But that's not how it's gonna work out, unfortunately. If I pop explosives now, they get to just recast the stuff next turn, which is kind of unfortunate. But I like almost definitely have to play Hazoret because it like perma blocks the Shadow. Alright, yeah. Sorry, Channeler. Triumph. Alright, so what's better, Kroxa or Hazoret? I know Hazoret can like it has this ability where you can like shoot stuff to the face. Hazoret, playing the card out of the graveyard is a little riskier for if they have like a Thought Seize, so Hazoret might be better just to avoid it getting Thought Seized. Yeah, it also just like clean blocks the Shadow. I'm unsure if I want to play Triome. Like Triome can be pitched to the Hazoret ability, which is nice. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna hold it. And like if they attack like Luris Shadow, I might just block Luris and take the 8. Yeah, keeping it in hand. I agree. I haven't played Hazoret in a long while. This card is pretty sweet. The art's cool too. I like how the light comes through the clouds. Yeah, the art is really sweet. I think like I said, I think the best part about the art, in my opinion, is how the light comes through. Like the pose is pretty sweet too, but the lighting on it is so great. Who did the art? Chase Stone. That's a Goyphopotamus. That's a Goyphopotamus. That's a Scourge. Oh wow. Alright, can I draw the other can I imagine drawing the other engineered explosives here? Just like force a chump with the Luris. That'd be nuts. Not quite. Alright, well it looks like it's Croxa time. I guess I want to keep instants and sorceries to potentially make more channelers big. I can't take out Artifact and Planeswalker. The opponent has both of those. Alright, so they are out of cards. I think I'm going to play the Blackleaf Cliffs. The opponent's at 5. I don't have enough mana to double pitch. And plus, if the opponent draws a land here, they could just die. Because like if we have them discard a land card, we can pitch before they're able to block with Luris, or at least before damage. This game would be very different had the opponent not had Veil of Summer. That Veil was quite good. So like, what's the best thing they can cast here? Wrenn and 6 doesn't quite do a whole lot. They can Swift Spear to just have another attacker. Alright, they drew Bobble. Interesting. I guess they can recast this Bobble. If they only play this one Bobble and they draw a land, then they could be in trouble for the previously mentioned reason. I mean, they have a pretty decent attack. They can send Goyf, Shadow, Goyf. Alright, I guess they're just really trying to make sure they don't have 2 lands in hand, I suppose. We could also just draw the other copy of Lightning Bolt. There's one other in the deck. But yeah, they've got a decent attack. I mean, if they're not ballsy enough to send that attack, they don't really have a good defense on the way back. Like if I just like block Shadow because it's the biggest thing, take 12, and then I have 2 attackers on the back, both which are lethal. Like Luris has lifelink, but they don't really want to trade that. Alright, this attack makes some sense. I'm still going to take the free block in one place. Keep my Croxa around. I could double block to kill a Shadow, but kill a Goyf, but that seems worse than just keeping my Croxa around. Can I draw the 1 bolt? I get 2 draw steps here, which is good for them. Inquisition. That's actually fine. If they've drawn only 1 spell and the Inquisition can take it, then we could still get the victory. All right, we do. Sweet. All right, so nice. Found the line. That veil was absolutely absurd. Thanks. Hazaret came in clutch. Yeah, this card is just absolutely excellent. Yeah, it's really there was a time period before I was streaming where I tried out Hazaret and Jund, and it did moderately well. All right, this hand's a little clunky. If we get Blood Moon down, we don't actually have access to a basic swamp, which is kind of strange. But we've got 2-drop into Liliana. Interesting. They're not playing Lara, so maybe it's just like regular old Jund. Playing against the Jund Gauntlet today, huh? Yep, is Jund. So their Spellbomb is going to be pretty annoying in the face of the Channeler and the Lilianas. Alright, well, that gives us access to a swamp that we were worried we weren't going to have. I think it's more of a surprise, that the Blood Moon is more of a surprise if I play the Blackleaf Cliffs first. But I mean, if my plan is to Blood Moon on 3, that has me not being able to play either of my Lilianas, and Liliana should be pretty potent. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get basic Swamp, and then just play this Channeler. It's weak if the opponent has a Liliana of their own, but the upside of them not having Liliana is I get to start attacking the Renin 6. If they play a creature here and attempt to defend the Renin 6 that way, I can Liliana it down. Alright, they have the Liliana. They also got their basics pretty smartly. This deck needs some Goblin Ravelmaster. Bolt is a good one. That'll enable us to destroy this Liliana right now. So I think I'm going to Kroxa first, so that way the opponent discards a card without the info that the Liliana is dying. Like, I could play Liliana now, but that doesn't seem very good in the face of a Renin 6. Like, I could Bolt the Renin 6, but that doesn't actually achieve much. The Spellbomb's going to be pretty annoying for dealing with the Kroxa. And, like, I could wait until they plus the Liliana to do this, but they've got the Renin 6 in play, so the plus is a lot better for them than it is for me. So I'm just going to make sure the Liliana doesn't get to plus. What's up, Norbit? Yep. I've got a 1 week no work vacation until I go back to work. So I'm enjoying the free life. Good to see you catch a live one. There goes Croxa. So the opponent doesn't actually have anything good to recur with the run and 6 emblem yet. That said, I'd really rather they not emblem. Another Croxa is fine. We're kind of far from escaping it. Maybe I should just get this Liliana down, start plussing it. The issue is, like I said, the run and 6 is really making this Liliana bad for me. And we could potentially get blood braided. The issue is I don't really have a good play no matter what I do, so I think I'm just gonna get the Planeswalker down because that's the board presence that gets to stick around, and I can ditch the Blood Moon fairly easily now. Yeah, the opponent was smart and they played around it from the get-go, which they were able to do very easily because they had Blackleaf Cliffs into find their forest and the Ren and 6, which is almost the natural way to do it. Oh look, the thing I was worried about. Brutal. Alright, well they get to take our Croxa, I suppose. Our best draw now is Hazoret, not close. Seasoned Pyromancer would also be an excellent one. We haven't seen that card show up yet. So we've got 6 really, really good draws. I guess that's not a land. I mean, the opponent's been working with the turn and 6. If their hand is all lands somehow, we could potentially pull ahead. Oof. Alright, well, it's not all lands, clearly. Hazoret. Dreadbore kills this Ren and 6, but this Tarmogoyf is a much more pressing problem. Bolt is something I really don't want them being able to recur, but the Goyf in conjunction with the Bloodbraid closes the game in 2 turns, which means they would only give me 1 more draw step if I don't kill it. So I like almost have to kill the Tarmogoyf here and just bite this bullet somehow later. Like if I find a Hazard and I can smack it for 5, that's a good way to reverse that clock. But I need to find it real soon. Exactly now, pretty much. This ultimate is almost definitely happening next turn. Alright, gotta be Hazoret. Hazoret. I mean, that's a fine one too. It could potentially find Lightning Bolt. Alright, Kolaghan's Command in the draw step is gonna make that not a reality. I mean, with this in the yard, I can escape a Croxa. But I mean, the odds this sticks around are pretty low. And the odds it beats an emblem are even lower. Like, it's very likely the opponent just, like, has the Fatal Push that they've had stuck in their hand. I guess not. But, I mean, any 2 lands in combination with an emblem kills this Croxa and puts us far away. Oh, the opponent, I think, misclicked. Yeah, they have to click the bolt first. I mean, they've got ways to continue buying back lands, which is good. If the opponent can like adequately explain how I'm dead here, like I'll just concede. I mean, they get to do it anyway, so. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm actually just dead. Like I can still find a wait, they didn't attack. Like if I can still find a Hazoret. Like, Hazoret can stop the Ren and 6 chain. Not quite. Now I am just dead on board. Alright, so regular Jund. We don't know that the opponent is playing Kroxa of their own, but they might be, and they are playing Kolaghan's Command, so Kling probably has some value. And then grindy matchup seems like the time for Kolaghan's Command. Spellbomb is also probably just fine. Maybe I want to have Pithing Needle as an answer to Ren and 6. I don't really want to name Liliana because that'll shut off my own as well. It's possible I want to play Engineered Explosives just as a potential multi for one. There's like a lot that I could be doing here. I don't think I want the feeds. I think I will be taking out lots of the hand disruptions, like again, against the mid-range matchups. They're just really not that good. Yeah, the retrace is, I guess, what they were trying to do. Like, I guess the retrace has, like, a different series of clicks. Alright, and the Blood Moons, the opponent did a pretty good job of playing around, but we are on the play where they are better. I honestly just think I'm going to cut them. Like, pretty often they're not going to do anything, but like I keep mentioning, there are ways to turn cards that mean nothing into cards that mean something via Channeler, Pyromancer, Liliana, Hazoret. So it might be a mistake to cut them all. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm bringing in Pithing Needle just for... I don't think I'm bringing in Pithing Needle just for a Ren and 6. Like, I can attack it down reasonably. Yeah, the Blood Moons are interesting. The opponent agrees. I guess the only real consideration now is do I want to play more Blood Moons over something? I think a second one is probably fine. I just don't know what it would be over. Cutting bolts? That's reasonable. I mean, there are things like Scavenging Ooze, potentially Dark Confidant, and like they also can finish Planeswalkers as well as the opponent's face. So like I like shaving one. Like they've got use. I don't think I want to get rid of most of them, especially because like I'm boarding in so many expensive cards on the mana base that I don't want to like grind away at the cheap ones because I don't want my hands to be ridiculously clunky more often than not. But I mean, trimming one could be fine. I like the idea. Yeah, let's go first. It's a lot of lands. I mean, I think Liliana is probably one of our better cards. The issue is this hand is very weak to a Ren and 6. Mulligans are just so rough versus Jund because they're playing Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes. But I mean, if they If they took them out like I would tend to do, this hand is just worthy of a mulligan. I think I'm gonna ship, but finding a worse hand is gonna feel really bad. All right, well this hand isn't worse. Let's keep this. I'm not binning Pyromancer. I'm not binning Push. I mean, Dreadbore is a way to deal with the potential run in 6 that I could be worried about. I think that the pitch is either Channeler or Croxa. I have basically 3 threats in between Channeler, Pyromancer, and Croxa, so I think binning one of them is fine since it's the most redundant element. I just don't think it's Pyromancer because that's really good against them for sure. So I just don't know if it's Channeler or Croxa. I think Croxa is probably better. Channeler is probably better in the late game when they've already expended their removal. Like the Channeler dies to literally everything. So I think it's probably acceptable to just keep the Croxa. All right, and they've kept in the hand disruption in some number. I guess the opponent did mention that they're scared to a degree of the Blood Moons. And I'm gonna get a Blood Crypt with this first fetch if I really want to get a swamp. If I really feel about getting a swamp, I can get that in the future. Chandra is a nice draw. I think I am going to go ahead and just get this Croxa down. Getting basic swamp here. We ate a Goyf, not bad. So really hoping there's no Ren and 6 in the future. Creatures I can deal with pretty easily. Alright, cool, there isn't one. Alright, so now we just kind of want to hit mana sources. We just don't want to hit like creatures that cost 3 or more. Or spells that cost 3 or more. Alright, Channeler counts. They didn't have a 2-drop, they didn't have a Ren and 6. The odds they've got removal are so high, but I'm not going to not play it. If they've got removal, they might just hold it so they can Liliana onto an empty board. Clothis. Or Clothies. Brutal. Alright, well we can maybe get this Channeler going. See if we can find the land. Don't know what I'm pitching here. I think I need to keep the Liliana for the first creature. And Chandra is generally pretty excellent. Assuming I can hit lands, it's going to be good. But it is just so far away. I'll ditch the Chandra. See if I can find the land. Alright. Choose a card. That one. Play it. Oh, I should probably just play the Liliana. If their curve out is Bloodbraid, it makes it much worse. So it's like, do I want to play around the potential Bloodbraid here? It's pretty rough. Yeah, I mean, I'm already falling so far behind due to this Clothis making it impossible for me to escape the Croxa that I think I just have to take the higher risk line of hope they don't have it and start whittling at their hands to try to catch up. And then I'll just ditch the Fatal Push here, I guess, because like if their play is a Liliana or a Ren and 6, I want to be able to kill it. Like if they have Liliana, they're pretty likely to Edict me here instead of plussing. If they plus, then I don't have any cards in my hand, and what I discard just doesn't matter. But this Clothis is going to be really annoying. Feeling pretty dead here. Got that Lily. Or not. You know, I imagine I'm not really beating much here. And they bought back Bloodbraid, yeah. Pyromancer is one of our better draws. I guess I should discard the Dreadbore to Channeler first if the other card is getting discarded anyway. I mean, I do want this Liliana to get plussed up to 3, so maybe I should discard it that way, and then like it can discard a card from drawing something from the Pyromancer. So I guess this which one is better? Do I want to plus Liliana, then play Pyromancer, and then discard a card to Channeler? I mean, I don't actually have to discard a Channeler, so I suppose what I should do is just plus the Liliana first, because that leaves me the option of doing the second discard action, whereas the other way around means it like kind of commits me to tapping the Channeler. Bolt and a Pyromancer, not bad. Or I don't really want to discard either of those. And if they attack with the Bloodbraid, I'm blocking, so let's get an attack for 1 in. This Clothes is just giving me the hands, though. Here goes a Pyromancer, probably. Unless they want the mana for the Bloodbraid. Alright, so they must have drawn a land. Brutal. Alright, there goes our other Pyromancer. And I will trade here to keep Liliana alive. Kolagon's Command. If they try to exile a creature from my graveyard with the Clothes, the Kolagon's Command is a pretty decent way to negate at least that one activation. So like a good question now is, do I want to activate this Liliana? I think I do, to discard this Lightning Bolt. Bolt just isn't really racing them anymore, and it doesn't kill a whole lot outside of Bloodbraid and like Scavenging Ooze. We don't have a good block on another Bloodbraid anyway, so I'll just attack for 1. Then again, if they target a creature here, which I imagine they will, like get rid of a Pyromancer, I'll Kolagon's Command it back. Like have the opponent discard or something. Yeah. It's like they don't have the lands apparently, unless they've just drawn one. So the odds this hits a spell are pretty high. Yep. We're also 1 away from growing the Channeler to a 4/4. Alright, it was another Bloodbraid, brutal. Into a trophy, also brutal. Maybe I should have gotten Mount in there because I could leave a Blood Crypt up after playing the Pyromancer. My initial thought was Blood Moon, but there's only 2 of those. Alright, I think I'm going to ditch the card now. We can't even get it on Elemental off of this. Ooh, we could play a Hazoret. Yeah, let's play a Hazoret. So, do I attack here? I kind of have to. The opponent is Hellbent. So, if I attack here, the opponent gets another free attack that puts me to 5. If I block this on future turns, that gives me 3. That gives me this attack and 2 more to try to close the game. So I think I'm attacking here. Like I just have to get the game over somehow. I need the opponent to brick starting now for anything to be possible. Alright, so they're taking instants and sorceries to put the channeler farther from growing. That makes some sense. Yeah, I can't really let this Bloodbraid hit me any more than this one turn because they 2 more upkeeps, or 2 more draw steps, I guess, and the Clothes kills me on its own. Jeez. Well, I mean, they've got a forest in play, so that doesn't actually escape the Kroxa. If I finding untapped land here means I get to exile a Pyromancer. But if it's a fetch land or a shock land, that puts me dead to a Clothes on the upcoming turn, which is not good. Interesting. All right, so that could be another way to potentially counter the effect of a Clothes activation. And they're probably gonna start going after my seasoned Pyromancers, so it's not even crazy. I think I have to, I think what I have to do is Kolaghan's Command to kill the Bloodbraid and get back the thing. Like, I could draw step the Kolaghan's Command. Like, this is going to go off at the end of the draw step, right? It's at the main phase, right? So that doesn't actually... I guess there is a window because of the trigger. So I think I'm just attacking here. And then I'll have to kill Bloodbraid, and then if they hit a creature, ideally snipe it. I mean, this puts my hand on the table that I have to have a removal spell of some kind. Did I keep in the moons? I kept in 2 of the moons. Alright, so I really need them to target a creature here. If they don't target a creature, I'm not just dead. I can still kill the elf and go to 1. Like, I need them to target a creature, and I need them to draw a land. Alright, they targeted a bolt. Brutal. I mean, yeah, that's gonna resolve. I've got 6 damage in play. So, I mean, if I draw lightning bolts to the face, that would be a way to kill the opponent if they just draw a land, which they have. Don't I just win if I draw Stub the Kolaghan's Command with the Hazoret ability? I don't believe so. If you can outline that a little bit more clearly, I can think about it again. Wow, they just didn't attack because, I mean, I guess the read is I have to have the removal, right? Like, you're saying, I put them to 7. I mean, then I only have an attack for 6 still. Yeah, the Clothes gains life, which is what complicates it. So now what I have to think is, I obviously have to kill the Bloodbraid here. It's what do I get back? I guess the only creature I'm getting back is a Pyromancer. So it's 2 to any target, return a creature. So if I draw a bolt, my decision to get the mountain is to get the swamp over the mountain is just another way that this has bitten me. The opponent says, what, a punt? Well, I mean, I've got the removal, so it's not a punt. Because I had to kill it anyway. All right. Also, just drawing the lightning bolt would be good. Channeler. So I've got an attack for 6. Like I can't even. I guess another way that I could another out is I could. Yeah, I think the out is I have to use the channeler, try to find a lightning bolt. Well, finding a lightning bolt also works now because I can pitch my other card to the Hazoret. So I mean, it would be 5 plus 5 is 10. So this is looking like a ditch on channeler, and then like try to find a bolt. Yikes. Do I have any more outs? If this Pyromancer draws me a lightning bolt, I'm gonna be pretty sad that I fetched as that I searched as I did. But I mean, at this point, it's too late. Nope. So yeah, I still have an attack, but that's not gonna be good enough. I would have had to have played the land. Yet we just die. Bummer. I mean, that was a pretty good game. The Clothes was just really overwhelming on turn 3. Yeah, Hazoret is really good, but that Clothes was really putting us out of range. I think the Clothes, they played it on turn 3, and that game went to like turn 8 or so. So it was a 20-point life swing. In addition to exiling relevant things like a Croxa. Pretty ideal from the Clothes side. And I did board out 1 copy of Lightning Bolt, which I still think is probably correct. Like, maybe even boarding out more is better. They just really don't do anything. Like I mentioned, like the only like their uses are like finishing off planeswalkers and killing only the small stuff. Like sometimes scavenging ooze if they don't have enough green to grow it. Bob if they're playing Bob, which we didn't see. And then like obviously like it can go to face. Yeah, this hand is fine. We've got double land. So I guess I'm going to fetch Swamp on 1 to cast Inquisition. I don't have a really good 2-mana play anyway. And I think casting Inquisition is on turn 1 as opposed to 2 is going to be pretty great. That's why you want to be on the play with him as opposed to just being on the draw. All right, so Inquisition. Oh, looks like we've got a mirror. Well, they're more of a skelemental type thing. So Blood Moon again, not going to be very good. Taking Skelemental is rough because like they could also just like find stuff like Unearth. This Pyromancer is honestly just going to be the more annoying thing. The Skelemental does hit really, really hard though. I'll take the Skelemental in hopes that they don't find Unearth. Another Inquisition. I mean, that's kind of fine. It's something we can actually cast this turn. Whoa, what just happened? Okay, I think I took the card by accident that I was going to take anyway. But that was scary. I was trying to expand my window and I like clicked the card. Alright, so this is the hand +1. That's the new one. There we go. Sweet, we hit the land. That's good. Alright, so Blood Moon is really unlikely to do anything impactful. So I think this is probably a fine seasoned Pyromancer turn. And I think I'm pitching a Kroxa here, because if I draw like an untapped land next turn, I can actually... If I draw like a fetch land next turn, I can actually escape the Kroxa. So I think binning it is probably advantageous. And then Blood Moon just really isn't doing anything, so I'll discard that. Double Liliana, not good. Again, really hoping for the fetch land to help escape the Kroxa. I might just end up Pyromancering these two Lilianas away, because that's gone. That was a new card as well. Thankfully, the opponent is not leaving much to the imagination. Is this an unearth? Yep, on a Pyromancer, okay. Swamp and Blood Crypt gone. Alright. So, bolt, and... Oop. Wow, I'm just clicking everywhere today. Alright, there's two bolts. I imagine there goes the Pyromancer. Now any land actually escapes Kroxa, though, so that's nice. We'll have to be wary of the double bolt killing the Kroxa. Alright, any untapped lands? I mean, I'm probably just okay with the opponent using both of the lightning bolts to kill the Kroxa. Alright, well, that doesn't do anything. Alright, so I guess I'm going to go Liliana minus. Get in a hit for 4. Like, they can bolt this Liliana if they feel so inclined. I doubt they're going to bolt a creature over a Liliana. Although they might, just because like, we're the ones with the creature pressure. Let's hand this bolt, and something. Alright, so now they've got one bolt left. The good news is this means that our Kroxa is probably going to be pretty good. Like, if they Skelemental here, that's fine. I'll just, like, take the 6 and discard the 2 useless things. So whatever they kept, it was better than Channeler. They've been to land in a Channeler. Cling the Kroxa, that sucks. And immediately we hit the land for it. I mean, I could get my other swamp now and just like get the moon down. It's not great. But I mean, it keeps him off of double black, which is, I guess, not nothing. Like, this Liliana is probably better used to answer a creature immediately after it comes down. But if that creature is a lightning skelemental, we're not actually able to do that. I mean, we're pretty low on mana now, on cards in hand. So I mean, maybe the moon is just fine. Like the odds they're able to cast like a 2 black spells in one turn get much lower. No, I think I want to just start going at the opponent's hand here. Like this moon really isn't doing much on the field. Alright, they discarded a bolt. So their hand is a mystery. But I mean, we're pretty ahead on board, which is nice. Yeah, I like this play better than the Blood Moon play, I think. Because like our board is so much more advanced than theirs right now. Like if we had we played the moon, like it really doesn't change much of the status. This seems better. And then I'll leave this Pluto Delta uncracked in case I draw a Fatal Push that needs Revolt. Maybe not relevant because I've got Liliana anyway. Alright, so what I think I'm going to do here is I am going to fetch this now. I'll get the Swamp, and then I'll shock this. And this is going to enable us to use the ability on the Pyromancer in the graveyard. Well, without them having the opportunity to cling it. Sure. Sure. And I guess just so there's no funny business, I could just exile a Pyromancer now. Exiling is a cost, right? Yeah, exiling is part of the cost. So I think I should wait. It could make their timing awkward on the cling to escape. Alright, well now I'll just go ahead and do one now because I can do the other one on my own turn if I draw a blank. And I did draw a blank. Did your Thoughtseize? Alright, feeling pretty good. Well, that's plenty big. But we've got the Liliana in play, so not really an issue. And I could ultimate, but let's just get the creature out of the way. Alright, cool. So, Rakdos Mirror. Don't think I want the feeds. They are playing the Unearth package, so the Clings are going to be good, as will be the Spell Bombs. Kolaghan's Command might be nice. This is another way to instant speed kill a Skelemental, but I think that's kind of extra. Kalidas doesn't outsize a lot, but it is pretty good for when their creatures die. Like, killing a seasoned Pyromancer with a Kalidas in play seems good. Chandra does get to kill a lot, doesn't it? Let's definitely take these Blood Moons out. Let's see what we want to take out first and see how many empty spots that gives us. I think the Thoughtseizes are going to be pretty poor. I think the Inquisitions are going to be pretty poor as well. Yeah, I think I want these Kolaghan's commands. Like these Blood Moons, and the Hand Disruption. This really doesn't seem like it's going to be very good. Do I bring in just like a Soul Guide Lantern? I do need just 2 more cards, so like maybe it's that and like 1 more Inquisition because everything else is worse. Yeah, it seems fine. This curve isn't really inverted or anything. It's not great, but it works. Lands are horrid. I really don't think the opponent is going to be Blood Mooning me, so maybe I should just get a Blood Crypt here to make the mana more perfect. But I mean, my mana is already going to be so good that getting a Swamp here seems like it's going to be basically free. Croaks is a good one. Something I get to do with my mana. It's even possible I should have used the fetch here. Just because I'm going to want to be able to escape this Croaksa pretty quickly. I guess if I add the fetch land and the lightning bolt into the yard before I get to my 4th mana, I'll be able to escape it on time. Alright, and them fetching Basic Mountain indicates that they have no fear of a Blood Moon, nor do I, really. I was hoping for something I could actually, like, cast here, but I guess this is fine as well. And I guess I'll play Blackleaf Cliffs just so I have all my mana as untapped sources, and then I'll probably end up bolting something, and then the fetch means I'll get to escape the Croaksa. They discarded a push. So the 3 cards they have in their hand are unplanned because they drew 2 off of the Pyromancer. Alright, so I guess I'm bolting now on account of the Inquisition now bricking. And this is one of the reasons why I dislike the hand disruption in mid-range mirrors, because pretty quickly they start to do nothing. If you've got them early, they're fine, but if you've got them late, like medium to late, they don't do anything. These games very often go medium to late. Alright, so a way that we don't get to escape Croaksa would be like a Cling to Dust. Looks like they've got it. Yep. I mean, I'm probably just going to stick a Chandra here and start plussing. Lightning Skelemental would be a way the Chandra easily dies, but they haven't demonstrated that they have it yet. I'll just plus to do the 2 damage. Alright, well I wish we had kept that in the deck, but I'm not going to not plus the Chandra. Channeler is a 5/5, yep. Or, with 5 instants or sorceries, it's a 4/4. I mean, I get to deal with that with the onboard Chandra, which is nice. And then I might just Liliana Edict the Elemental, just to keep the board nice and empty. They do have Pyromancer in their yard. But they need a mana source for that to actually equate to an activation. Alright, well that was a terrible draw, clearly. Right, let's do 4 damage to a creature. That one. And then Liliana Edict on this elemental also means that the Chandra gets to stick around. Alright, and I'll play the Delta. Just to like add a card to the yard and take another land out of the deck. A relevant value that I could be losing is Revolt for Fatal Pushes. So maybe I just not crack this until I know that I've found the Kroxa or not. There are 2 left in the deck. Okay. Alright, so I mean their threat is pushable without Revolt, so I'm just going to take a land out of the deck. Channeler. Not exactly to size. Let's plus this first. We hit a Pyromancer. Alright, so that would have been a reason to Channeler first. Oops. Wow, we are drawing pretty horridly. Alright, well I'm definitely going to plus the Liliana, so that way we've got an answer to we've got an answer to the Kroxa in play. Yeah, they just don't want to cast it into it. I mean, they might have like a lightning bolt and they plan on bolting the Liliana after a plus, but I think they might even want to get rid of the Chandra. I guess upkeeping it doesn't actually make a difference, but whatever. Cling. Alright, that'll get rid of the opposing Kroxa pretty handily. Timing on this I don't think matters a whole lot. I do want to plus Liliana, so I guess now is the correct time. And then they've got 1 Season's Pyromancer in the yard, so in the event they hit a land, I think I'm going to want to take that out now. And then I'll keep instants and sorceries for potential magmatic channelers. I'm going to keep the Hazoret for potential Kolaghan's commands. Alright, so this is going well. They drew Hazoret? That'd be brutal. Maybe they're just escaping their Cling. It's like Cling, take my Cling. Yep. Really just not drawn super hot. Wow, and they found the Kroxa. Brutal. I mean, we still have an answer in play to the Kroxa. And again, I think I'll just keep the fetch in play to potentially enable Revolt. Honestly, don't know that there's anything in their deck creature-wise that costs more than 3, or 3 or more, that I would like actually need Revolt. Come on, deck. Jeez. Sooner or later, I'll find the spell. I guess I could have had a Channeler in play had I sequenced it slightly differently. The idea was that like if I like hit a Hazoret and I only had 5 mana sources, I wanted to be able to play the Hazoret off of the activation. Yikes. Alright, so this is going to make the Liliana much worse, especially if they make an elemental here, which they do. Alright, now would be a good time to find something. That is something. We can even escape it now too, can't we? Okay, that was the nut. Get to empty the opponent's hand here off of the escape. The fetch land is going to put the 5th card in the yard. I'll keep the Triome in the deck in case I'm lucky enough to draw it. So question now is the Liliana better spent plussing or just edicting this elemental? It's probably just fine to get rid of the elemental at this point. Although, like, being able to plus the Liliana means that an attack with Kroxa puts the opponent to 1 for sure, which shuts off fetch lands and also makes any attacker lethal. Plus here is probably good. And the opponent does still have Kroxa of their own. It's a pretty even board. Bolt the Liliana. Yep. That means they're not escaping Kroxa, though. Wow, this is horrid. Alright, so I get to attack with the Kroxa, which puts the opponent to 1, and then everything becomes a must block. So if I attack all, they can like put elemental here, but then they could eat, which doesn't seem good. So I think what's going to happen is I just attack with only Kroxa. I mean, attacking with a Seasoned Pyromancer and letting them eat it does mean that I'm going to get to produce 2 elementals, which might just be good, right? Like, doing this seems good because they're going to be at 1, and then when I make the elementals, I'm going to have 4 attackers next turn, all of which are lethal. That means escaping Kroxa doesn't even get them there, because they have to block now. So yeah, suiciding this Pyromancer actually seems profitable. And then obviously gonna not. I'm gonna play the land because if they escape the Kroxa, I would just discard it anyway. They ditched a Cling and a Canyon. Or they hit a Cling and a Canyon. So a Fatal Push would be annoying, but we would still win off the back of attacking with elementals. Sweet. Alright, so real fast, I'm going to use the bathroom and grab a snack. So I'll be back in like a minute or two. Yeah, this hand's acceptable. It's a little on the painful side, but the interaction level is high. Prowess. Alright, well, our hand's fine versus Prowess. They didn't reveal Luris. So maybe they're playing Bedlam Reveler? Or Stormwing? Yeah, I think I'm just gonna Lightning Bolt this thing now to turn off potential light up the stages. I think I want to get a Blood Crypt to do it, because next turn I may want to be able to cast Thoughtseize and Inquisition. It's more painful than I wish it were. This also turns off stuff like light up the stage. I think I want to do it now, so they can't like mutagenic growth and use that growth as a 3-point attack. So his prowess makes it 3. Wow. Alright, not a bad draw. I still think I want to fend off the on-ground assault before attacking the hand. So I think this is probably a fine time to Dreadbore. I guess I'm just going to Dreadbore the Soulscar Mage. It attacks for the same, assuming the opponent has a single spell. And also the Guide Beast means that they're only going to be using 1 mana at a time. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and Dreadbore the Soulscar again. Wow. Okay. So Blood Crypt means that if I want, I can play Seasoned Pyromancer. It's honestly looking like the thing that I want to do. I can use the Pyromancer to block this, and then this I can block pretty easily. If they have another haste creature, it becomes a lot worse, though. So maybe I just want to cast the Hand Disruption spell and go for that play next. Also, Hand Disruption is going to lose value really quickly. And additionally, playing Pyromancer now means I have to shock. So I think I'm going to go with the Hand Disruption now, leading on Inquisition. Then I can get a Blood Crypt down tapped. Exile Simian Spirit Guide? What? Fair enough. Alright, well, I guess I'm not thought seizing. Alright, well, I'm at a virtual 4. Probably just lead on the Pyromancer. I can like ditch Peatland, ditch Inquisition. I'm not gonna tap the Peatland ever. So I guess I'll just ditch the Hand Disruption spells because that'll get me the most bodies. Definitely ditching the Thoughtseize. The question is like, what's the other card? Pretty sure it's not Pyromancer. Yeah, I'll ditch the Inquisition. I might need the Peatland to redraw. And plus, any burn spells they have, they're just immediately playing. Guess I'll play the land. Yep. Alright, so the Legion Loyalist is turned on. Their stuff is going to have Trample and First Strike. So I think my best move is assume they don't have a spell. This can go here. Why can't I block the elementals? Can't be blocked by tokens. Okay. I forgot that was part of the text. Alright, well, I guess this is going here. And then hope they don't have a spell. Land is bad. I'll keep the Peatland. because like at worst I can cycle it, so I guess I'm ditching Thoughtseize and Basic Mountain. I guess the downside would be if I draw a 2-drop, I can't play it, so maybe like just for that reason I should be ditching Peatland. Yeah, I'll gamble it. Alright. Ended up not being relevant, but we drew a push, so that's fine. And I think I'm going to get an attack in. I've got to start turning the corner at some point. I still have blocks on these creatures, and I've got a Fatal Push just in case. Alright, so the opponent very apparently has lots of burn in their deck. I'm going to have to dodge basically all of it. So I guess I'm just going to untap and see what I draw, and that can inform whether or not I want to actually Fatal Push. Inquisition. Alright, well, I guess I can cast that first, and that'll determine whether or not I want to Fatal Push. So their hand is a land. I mean, I think I do need to just keep on attacking. Wayward Guidebeast is the one with Trample. And they've demonstrated that they're playing stuff like Titan Strength. So I think if it's between the two things that I need to kill, I should probably just kill the Guide Beast, because Swift Spear can be blocked by a single elemental pretty profitably. Without getting trampled over, that is. And I think I'm just sending the Pyromancers. Like, I could send these two, but then I die to just an attack. So I can send 2 with the intention of blocking, but then that's only 1 point of damage because one gets blocked. So yeah, I think just these are fine. Alright, I still need the opponent to brick off here. Nope. So mono red, basically Bushwhacker. Explosives is going to be great. Come on. Coladon's kind of just another way to kill something. I think I might want to feed the swarms. I mean, their average creature is just a 1 CMC anyway, so this is probably just kill a thing, lose a life, which is probably fine. And then if I could untap with Kalitas, that's probably a pretty good way to win. They are a burn deck too, so Clean the Dust just to like gain 3 a couple of times might be great. I think I'm going to cut a Hazoret. The Blood Moons are terrible. Let me get rid of those at first. The Thoughtseizes are also not great. Inquisitions are fine. This has me needing 2 cards. Doesn't look like they have anything graveyard related going on. Maybe while I'm on the play, a Thoughtseize is just fine. Like on average, it's going to take a creature or a burn spell, which is like gain a life or 2 plus info. It's also possible I should just be playing this other copy of Hazoret. Just as a way to turn the clock. Yeah, it seems fine. Alright, let's give that a go. Yeah, sounds great. So it's more likely than not that these 2 removal spells are going to go at creatures instead of like maybe like the push at a creature and the bolt to face. So I really don't think it matters which one I end up deploying first. Opponent's mulliganing a lot though, so that's good. Really don't know what the second color is here. Or like maybe they just need Revolt for something. Unclear. Right, well, as much as I wouldn't mind them bouncing this land to their hand, I'll just start killing their stuff. Alright, and then I'll cast a Croxa here. Ooh, or I could just play a Channeler. Channeler is good too. Yeah, I'll play that. It's the onboard presence that actually gets to stick around. Plus, if they got like another Guide Beast or something, I get to block it pretty easily. Then this could also maybe help me start hitting land drops to reach Kalidas. Sure. So, untapped lands would be good. Bolt's not the worst. Croak's time. This is probably the best window to do it, given that the board is empty. Mutagenic growth. Okay, they're just like an all-in prowess deck. It's a nice thing to know of. That means Bolt is more likely to kill a prowess creature. Wow, that's aggressive. Really don't know what these fetches could be for. Lands are good. There's a land. I think I'm just going to plus discard a Bolt here. Or just go to the next game. Alright, so mono red, presumably. Now that I'm on the draw, do I want to change anything? Honestly, not sure that I do. I mean, the cooldowns commands could be just fine as another way to kill something, but at 3 mana, I'm not convinced it's better than just like the first copy of Thoughtseize. This is probably just fine. Yeah. No lands is a no keep. This is much better. Just bottom a land here pretty easily. Interested to know what the opponent has planned with their Simian Spirit Guide that we saw in the first game. I guess stuff like this. I still think I'm killing the Goblin Guide just off the consideration that it does more damage. Inquisition is interesting. If they dump their hand before the Inquisitions actually get cast, it's going to be a little bit of lost value, which is unfortunate. But I still think I should bolt just to keep the life total high. Alright, well, they could have Mutagenic Growth to save the guide. It'll be interesting to see what the play is. Okay. It's a lot of stuff. Alright, I think I'm just going to hope they don't have it. I need to stop the most damage, I think. They've got a pretty nutty start. If they've got a Mutagenic Growth, I'm kind of boned. Alright, so this is a hit for 4, and the Inquisitions are probably dead. So I'll probably just end up Inquisitioning anyway. If I Croxa, they could just discard their land. So I guess like casting Inquisition is the highest probability I actually get rid of something. That's interesting too. If I feed the Swarm on the Wayward Guide Beast, that has me going to 12, which has me at a Ritual 10, assuming I'm cracking this, that's a Ritual 9. I mean, this might be the last turn where Inquisition actually does something. So I think I'm just gonna fire off the Inquisition and then really hope I actually hit something. If their hand is land, this bites me. Alright, well I took what is effectively a Lightning Bolt. Oh, hang on. I'm thinking, do I want an Inquisition targeting myself? Like, Inquisition is actually not doing anything else here. And, taking the Croxa might actually give me time to escape the Croxa. I guess let's do that math. So I mean, I'm taking 4 again. That's putting me to 9. 2 fetches has me at a virtual 7. This has me at a virtual 6. It's close. I really think I should just wait. So I've got land, something. Jeez. Dreadbore. Well, I mean, that's the removal spell that doesn't involve me losing life. So I think now what I have to do is I should probably Dreadbore the 2/2. Then I can Inquisition targeting myself. That means untapped land gets me Croxa into play. I don't even know that that's going to be near good enough, though. But I mean, I need Croaks in the yard for that to even be possible. Alright, need the opponent to brick out. It's not a brick. I mean, their Spirit Guide did some amount of work in that it just put another creature into play on turn 1. Don't think there's anything that saves me now, short of a sweeper that I'm not playing. Yeah, that certainly doesn't do it. GG's. Yeah, their start was way too fast than I could handle. I mean, I mulliganed to a serviceable 6 with 3 lands in it. But the issue is, like, 2 of my good spells were Inquisitions, and they just had their hand empty by the time I could get them down. It's a lot of lands, but I mean, we've got Seasoned Pyromancer to hopefully filter through it. I think on the draw I probably ship this, but on the play it's probably fine if we're getting something slower. Yeah, that makes some sense. Blood Moon versus the player with the basic in play, not great. I mean, they don't know about it, so if they don't have another basic, there's a chance we get them. Discarded a swamp. Play a swamp. Is this like 8 rack? Oh wow, it's 8 rack. Alright, well Blood Moon doesn't do anything. I almost want to just like keep the lands. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the lands. I mean, the odds I get to actually keep both of these lands are pretty low. Channeler is fine. Do I even play the Channeler? Probably. Just because, like, if they Ravenscry me again, maybe I want to keep the land and make sure I can have the land in hand to attempt a escape on Kroxa. But I don't even have the cards required in the yard yet. How's the deck felt? It's felt fine. I have gotten flooded a few games, but I mean the deck does a decent job at filtering through some stuff that you don't want. Alright, so I did draw the land. I kind of think I need to activate the Channeler though, because if I hit the land, this card in the yard means I can escape the Kroxa. Alright, cool. All this other stuff. Which one did I not click? The moon? Done. Yeah, it hasn't been like ridiculously impressive, but it's been fine. Although to be fair, like Blood Moon is supposed to be like one of the more unfair cards that this deck has that just like produces instant wins, and this is the 5th match and we have yet to play against a deck where Blood Moon has been good. If I had kept the fetch, could I just fetch play the Kroxa? Yeah, but this is more fun. So yeah, your line is definitely better. Because you guarantee hit it. I just didn't think about it. I'm going to keep it in hand. Like, they have some stuff that, like, they've got, like Mutavaults that this could turn off, but I almost want them to make me discard it so it fuels the Kroxa again so I can recast it. Alright, well I need the 4th land to cast Kroxa, so I'll play that. Damn. That's brutal. Alright, at least they're on nothing. I mean, even lands are a retrace on Ravenscry. They might want the lands. Wow. Alright, I think I'm going to actually sacrifice a non-fetch here because the fetch represents another card I get to put in my yard for future Kroxas. And I guess now I will get a swamp because if I draw a Blood Moon, I'll turn off the Mutavaults now. Sure. Well, then I can't escape Kroxas. It's so rough. No, it's fine. I'll just discard it. Yeah, you want to keep it too? No play. Yep. And there's the Kroxa, I guess. Another smallpox. We drew the rack. I mean, Kroxa erases the rack pretty well. Alright, well, I'm not playing that. Untap land, please. Take 2. Jeez. Alright, well that one doesn't actually trigger, right? Because we've got 2 cards. Alright, Alright, I still think we have to ride Croxa to victory. As long as I can keep cards in the hand, these don't do a lot. Maybe now I play the Channeler. Just like that. That can dig me towards lands. And I don't wanna continue doing nothing. Go to Channeler Croxa. Oh, okay. Boo. Well, that's not getting used on a Croxa, so I guess that much makes me happy. Uh-oh. They drew their win condition. Come on, Croxa mana. There it is. Looked like Moto froze on me for a sec. Alright, so I have no instants or sorceries to care about for channelers. Done. Alright, we got the Croxa down. That was pretty much probably, that was like almost the last turn where like we could hit it and have it be good. He's like, this Mutavault ticking away means that like they really only need a couple more discard spells. Am I winning this game? Oh, not if they keep drawing stuff like that, though. We take 0. That does nothing. I think I'm going to play a Croxa just to get a card in the yard. Like I could play 2 things, but then if I play 2 things and they like retrace Raven's Crime, their Shrieking Affliction goes off. That seems a little risky. And I guess in the event they've got they want to like have a cling, I should get the second Croxa in the yard. The thing is though, like Inquisitioning now means I actually get to escape a Croxa next turn. I just really don't want their Shrieking Affliction triggering. Like if I draw a land next turn, I could make the same play. They've drawn all copies of Smallpox. That's kind of funny. Castle. Yep. Take 0. Well, that's the land that doesn't escape the Croxa. The only land that doesn't. And I get to cycle it, I suppose. Joy. Alright, so I'm taking 2 again. But I mean, then maybe the Croxa can actually start doing some work. I mean, their actual racks aren't really lined up to be doing much of anything. I mean, they are hellbent, and their various rack pieces aren't actually doing anything. I mean, Croxa's gonna kill in 1 hit if they don't have anything to discard. We're in it. They need to not draw another Fatal Push is what needs to happen. So they're going to go to 9 here. They've already found 3 copies of Fatal Push. They've used all of their Smallpox already. Wow, are you kidding? Damn it, Lord Michael. You called it. Oh my god, that's brutal. That's like their best case. Not even close. Jeez. Oh my god. Like, I kind of like need to get this Croxa back into play somehow. So, I mean, I guess I'm like playing Polluted Delta. They'll plus the Lily. I'll have to discard Dreadbore. I can Fatal Push the other thing. Yep. Yeah, I guess I do get to dreadboard it immediately. I have to. So then maybe playing the land was almost definitely a mistake then. Wrench Mind? Well, yeah, playing the land was bad. Jeez. I just die now. Wow, I suck. Wow, that was so bad. Like they needed to get lucky and have me punt, which both things happened. Come on, Moto. There we go. That was so bad. Feed the Swarm kills the Shrieking Affliction. That's it. Blood Moon is bad. We're 1 for 5 on decks where Blood Moon is decent, and like the person had all of their basics. Oh, we just boarded out all the Blood Moons every time. Lilianas are horrid. I guess like Cling to Dust could actually end up netting us a card or two, which could be relevant against like an actual 8-rack player. Like Chandra might be better than like something, I don't know. Thoughtseize. Trim Push. What would you want to put in over it? Like Push kills Mutavault and that's kind of it. Like maybe Chandra is better than it. I mean, Kalidas gains life. That's not nothing. It's like maybe Kalidas is better than Chandra. Like the only mode on Chandra that ever matters is the plus. Let's do that. We've got 2 pushes. I mean, I kind of have to keep. We're against 8-rack, and we've got Thoughtseize and Kroxa. They're probably gonna have me discarding cards anyway. So the Fatal Pushes will just be the first to go. I think I'm just gonna take the Wrench Mind. It's the only multi for 1. We could take the Shrieking Affliction, which is their only rack piece. So here goes Kroxa. So Inquisition gone, Swamp gone. This Nether Spirit is going to be really annoying. Jeez. You think taking Affliction would have been better? I mean, my logic is that they have so many rack effects that like taking 1 isn't really going to do a lot. And then like I just wanted to keep my hand as big as possible. Wow. Alright, well I think I'm just going to end up discarding the Bloodstained Mire. Oh no, I need the Bloodstained Mire to put a card in the yard, so that's not happening. This or Jundata GP if I had to choose. I would never play Jundata GP right now. So this. So I think what's going to happen here is I am going to Fatal Push the Nether Spirit and then fetch to put 5 cards in the yard for the Kroxa. I know this doesn't actually kill this. Which would have been the reason to play the Mire last turn, but I'm playing fast and loose. Yeah, I mean, like, the online meta is, I think, very different than a meta you would find at, like, a GP. They discarded a push. They've got to have another one. Yeah. Like, if you go to a GP, people are going to be playing pretty much only the Tier 1 stuff. And most of the Tier 1 stuff John does a hard time with. Like, you never ever want to fight against Uro or Omnath. You never ever want to fight against Primeval Titan. I guess one thing that I could be doing is I could like bolt the Nether Spirit and then use the Cling to eat it. But I think I want to get the redraw off of it. Like if I'm against Idrak and I'm not drawing off of the Cling, it doesn't seem like it's very good. Oh yeah, I should have eaten the Crime. Yeah, I told you, I'm just playing fast and loose. Pretty bad. Crap. Alright, I guess pass. I guess I'm discarding... Could just discard the artifact, but I like have to kill the Shrieking Affliction is the issue. So I'll discard 2 and I'll keep the Engineer Explosives. Yeah, I mean Affliction is 3 damage, but like I let them keep the Raven's Crime, so like now I have to kind of get rid of that. That was good. That gets us out of Shrieking Affliction range. I mean, if we discard anything, especially via this Raven's Crime, the Shrieking Affliction is back to doing damage, but we still have a 2/2 body. I mean, it's going to take a lot for me to win this game after messing up. Oh yeah, we just die. Or we don't just die, but it's going to be pretty impossible to win. I can't escape Kroxa and blow up EE though. I don't have enough mana to do all that. Like I can kill the Affliction, but then I can't deal with this Nether Spirit. You're saying Kroxa first? Yeah, I mean I have to, right? That's the only out that I have, but them having me discard actual anything puts me dead. Yeah, I do just like have to block the Spirit. Yeah. But yeah, I should have like getting rid of this Raven's Crime just like solves all of my problems, but I didn't because I'm a little dumb. They kind of just drew the nut perfect, and then there were 2 instances where like they needed to draw the nut perfect and have me be bad, and like both times I just like let it happen. Alright, well, let's do a really quick deck tech wrap up for purposes of the recording. So, yeah, all in all, this deck felt fine. One of the draws to the deck is probably just having Blood Moon be your best card in a lot of matchups. And in this league, we played against no decks where Blood Moon was good. We played against one mirror that was playing Skelemental. We played against two hyper aggro red decks. We played against mono black, and then we played against Jund. And our Jund opponent, they were on the play, and they had like play basic forest on 2, red and 6, play basic swamp on 3, and like the Blood Moon just like didn't do anything. So we were 0 for 5 on Blood Moon being good, and that's a 4 of in our main, so not a good feeling there. I mean, the rest of the deck was fine. The Seasoned Pyromancer was good as it tends to usually be. The Croxes were great. We never really got Croxa flooded, so that was fine. The Dreadbores were fine. Channelers were fine. Bolts were fine. Maybe we have too much 1-mana hand disruption, but we kind of need them for the Channelers to be good, and it's really some of the best stuff we could be doing on turn 1 without like a good 1-mana creature. So, I mean, all in all, it felt just fine. I think I would definitely change the sideboard a fair amount. I really don't like the Soul Guide Lantern. I understand it's good versus Oops All Spells, but I think the rest of the deck is pretty well set up to beat that deck anyway. I'm not super confident that I like the Chandra for similar reasons. It's pretty good versus the grindy matchups and not against much else, but this deck already has a fine grindy matchup. Cletus I can see being good versus like the hyper aggro stuff. We brought it in a few times. I like the explosives. We can never get it on 3. Actually, I guess we can because we can get the Triome to make white. But I really don't know what these Pithing Needles are here for. So I would definitely take these out. I would probably take the Chandra out. I would probably take the Soul Guide Lantern out. And I really don't know that I want to be playing the Klings. Like, the Klings were fine in a few matchups. But if I'm going to play Grave Hate, I think I'd want it to be a little bit more impactful. So, like, maybe I'd play something like, just like another copy of Nile Spellbomb or something. Yeah, they could be for Heliod combo as well. That does make some sense. Alright, so that's going to be for this recording. Sorry about all those punts in the last match. I just like was kind of playing fast and loose. But yeah, that's about all I've got to say for this one. So until next time, see ya.